When we think about Blitzkrieg, we usually think about the victories of the German army in the beginning of the Second World War. The Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, was however not a new phenomenon. When researching references to Lightning War in French newspapers before the First World War, I bumped into an interesting case, namely the victory of Bulgaria in the Balkan War of 1912. After gaining formal independence in 1908, Bulgaria began to thoroughly militarize the population. Within several years, it managed to build up a formidable army, and the country became to be known as the Prussia of the Balkans. The goal of this army was to liberate the lands populated by Bulgarians under the Ottoman Empire in order to achieve full national unity. In order to guarantee success against the much larger Ottoman Empire, the Bulgarians planned to mobilize the maximum amount of troops. Out of the population of 4.4 million, they would mobilize close to 600,000 men. This was more than 1 out of 7 Bulgarians and close to 1 out of 3 adult males. The Turkish population was 21 million, and in the case of war, they would mobilize the same amount of men as the Bulgarians. The Bulgarian army was however not alone, and would attack together with the armies of Serbia, Montenegro and Greece, in order to compel the Ottoman Empire to divide its forces. The plan was to overrun the Ottoman territories before the empire could muster the full weight of its armed forces. When the war broke out in October 1912, the Bulgarian army stunned the world by an all-out offensive with deep penetrations within Ottoman territory. It defeated all the forces the Ottomans mustered against them, and before the end of the month, the Bulgarian army had encircled the mass of the Turkish army at Adrianople and was approaching the gates of Constantinople, the capital of the Ottoman Empire. The French press spoke of the Bulgarian Lightning War. Disarray, disorganization and misery. The successive and constant defeats which the Turkish armies have ceaselessly suffered 2 weeks since this lightning war has broken out have shined a striking light on the decay which has fallen on the Ottoman Empire. The French War Minister Alexandre Millerand even exclaimed that he would prefer 100,000 Bulgarians as allies over any other nation in Europe. The Bulgarians had cemented their reputation as the Prussians of the Balkans. The Bulgarian Blitzkrieg caused a sensation in 1912. During the discussion of the French defense budget, the Bulgarian offensive was being brought up as an example that a well-trained attacking army can ensure victory over a stronger adversary when the offensive is brutal, hard and quick. This meant that the countdown to war began with the mobilization of the army. In other words, the country who mobilized the quickest was most likely to win. The Bulgarian success of 1912 vindicated the generals who advocated mass mobilization and all-out offensives to bring about a decisive victory. All of this significantly influenced strategic thinking in the wake of the First World War. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to get notifications for new content.